The second part of the process is to say sorry. Apologizing involves taking responsibility for what we've done to hurt our partner. And you'll know how hard it is to admit, I was wrong, to say, I'm sorry for doing this or saying that. And I know for myself that my pride leads me instinctively to start to make excuses, to jump to my own defense when Scylla tells me I've done something that's upset her.
And I find it easier to swallow my pride and to say sorry when Nicky tells me how what I've done has made him feel. When he uses I statements, it helps me to see it from his perspective. Taking responsibility and apologizing effectively involves finding out from our partner how serious a particular incident was for them. It's discovering where the hurt comes on a kind of Richter scale, where 1 is a light tremor and 10 is catastrophic. So we can ask our partner, is this a 2 or is this a 10 for you? And when we're able to empathize with the extent of their distress, particularly if it's a 9 or a 10, it helps them to feel understood. And that helps hugely with the process of healing. Also, when we say sorry, it's important not to make excuses, such as, I know I was in a bad mood yesterday, but you've no idea of the pressure I'm under at the moment. A true apology doesn't make excuses. When we say, I'm so sorry I hurt you, please forgive me, I'm going to try not to do that again. It's so powerful in a marriage.
As we said, we've had much bigger hurt to deal with than the example we used earlier. And some hurt we've had to talk about had been buried for much longer, including one in particular that went back to before we were married. While leaving the party was a 2, maybe a 2.5 on the Richter scale, this one was a 9 or 10 for one of us. And it took some time to explain why it was so painful and then following through with apologizing and forgiving. But we were amazed at the difference it made in our marriage. We can still clearly remember those feelings of closeness and freedom it created between us. In a moment, we're going to ask you to do the next conversation in your journals, identifying unresolved hurt. In part 1, each of you think of ways that you've hurt your partner that may still be unresolved for them. Write down whatever comes to mind. Then, in part 2, each of you write down ways that you've been hurt that are still unresolved issues for you. They may be major or minor. They may be recent or from a long way back. Then, when you've both finished writing, exchange your journals and follow the instructions.
And for some of you, there may only be one issue, or maybe nothing comes to mind. And for you, this session will help you to see how to keep the drain clear in the future. Others of you will have many issues. You're dealing with a backlog, and this may be a process that takes some time. You may not be able to express why you feel hurt all in one go. But we hope that for you, this session will be the start of clearing out days, weeks, months, or even years of unhealed hurt and buried anger.
For some couples, this conversation is the hardest part of the marriage course, and things can get worse before they get better. But please, don't be put off, because the result of clearing the drain, if it is blocked, is amazing. It can bring you new levels of closeness, as it did for us.